welcome back. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to do what the older folks refer to as water witching. Some people call it water witching and some people call it water wishing because you're wishing there's some water where your rods cross. What we're going to do, this is how people used to find water and how people still find water. We're going to take two rods, and all these are brazing rods, welding rods. They're about 3 feet long. They've got a bend, a 90-degree bend on the end. The way you hold them, lay them in the crook of your knuckle right there. Lay you right there. Put your pinky on this side, and you kind of hold a little tension on it with your pinky so that the rod will stand up. Just like that. And what we do is we walk out through the yard with them about shoulder width apart. And you walk along, and when you find water, when you run over a water vein, they cross, just like that. Now there's something else pretty cool about this, but I'll show you that in a few minutes. But to give you an idea as to what we're talking about, Danielle is standing right on top of one of our water lines. So we know for a fact there's a water line right there with water in it. So let's see what it looks like. Let's see what happens when you walk across it. Again, I'm barely
holding it, yeah.
I've got my hands open. I don't have any way to turn the rod. So let's walk across. There's some wind blowing today, which affects it a little bit. But let's see what happens when we walk across this water line. Look at that. Look at that. And that is right in line. This rod in my hand is pointing straight at where the water line comes out of the well house. This rod is pointing straight to where it goes over the corner of the farm, or corner of the chicken house and turns. So let me show you again. You ready? Back up here, shoulder width apart, barely holding the rod, shoulder width apart. When we walk up to the water line, the rod's turn.
Some people say that this is not like a real thing, that people will turn it on their own, but
it's not. I wish I could show you how much pressure I'm putting on it, but all I'm doing really is holding it with my pinky. And it's just enough to hold it in my fingers. You can see there, my hands are open. Shoulder width apart, my hands are still open. When you walk across the water line, look at that. Now here's the crazy thing. See this rod? This rod is turned to the left. Now, we know for a fact that the water runs from the well house to the chicken house. We know it runs from my left to my right. Now watch, you saw when we walked up, they crossed this direction. Watch when you just use one of them. This is how you find the direction of the flow. Hold the rod the same way, exact same way. I'm pointing straight at you. When I cross the water line, look at that. Now why is it when you walk up with two of them they cross this way, but when you walk up with one it goes that way? Let's try it with my left hand. This one was on the left side and went that one to the right. I can't talk today. This one went to the right when we crossed the water line. So now let's find the direction with this one. Walk up to the water line, and there's your flow. Water's flowing that direction. Walk up with both rods, and they cross. The one in my left hand's pointing to the right, the one in my right hand pointing to the left. If there's anybody that understands the science behind that, please explain it to us because we are curious. But what we're doing, we're looking for water veins. We're having another well drilled, and the people have got their equipment set up to do it. This is something we did the other day. But we wanted to show you guys what we're doing. So we're going to move around here to the other side of this pole barn where there's one vein, and we're going to move to the back of the pole barn where there's another vein, and we'll show you how we figured out where to drill the well. Now we know for a fact, well, we did this the other day. We walked all over the yard and we found a few water veins. There's one just about where Danielle is standing. So again, my rods are straight out in front of me, barely holding them, shoulder width apart. I'm going to walk right where we know a water vein is, and we'll show you again. Ease along through the yard, Wind blowing the rods just a little. And there they go. Right there is a water vane. Back up. Do it again. Shoulder width apart. Hands are open. Just kind of got the rods laying on my hands. Cross the vane. There it is again. So we know there's a water vane right here. So which way is it going? Well, I'm going to do it with my left hand. Again, you can see my left hand is pointed straight at you. All right? I'm going to put my right hand down to the side. Hold the rod in my left hand straight out. Watch this. You get to the vane, which way it turns. Now that same rod 5 seconds ago turned to the right when we found the water, when I had the other rod held up here to it. When you lay them together, nothing. Doesn't do anything. But when you hold the one out, it's showing that that water is flowing to my left. This is the same rod that turned to the right just a minute ago. So, again, I don't understand the science behind it. I'm sure there is science behind it. It's not just voodoo. There it is again. So we know that this vein, this water vein, is flowing that direction. One thing we found is there's another water vein flowing perpendicular to it. And when you go right over there into the building, this water vein ends. It ends right where you pick up the one that goes parallel with the building. So what that means, what we're pretty sure that means is this vein flows into the vein that's running perpendicular to it, which is great because that means when you get downstream from it, you have more water. Now we'll go over here and find the other vein and we'll show you the flow there too. Okay, we found where this vein ends. Decided to come back and show you this. We found where the vein ends. This is the same one we were walking over just a minute ago. Walk over it with rods shoulder width apart. We're turning. There it is. Okay. I'm going to move about 10 feet to the left. So when we come over here, we're going to walk forward. Right there is where we crossed the last vein. The rod's never moved. But here is one thing. Here, this is what we were going to show you with the one that runs kind of parallel to the building. If I walk toward Danielle, we find another water vein. Now, this rod turned to my right. So let's see which way it flows. Flows right over there toward that drill rig, doesn't it? So what we're doing, the vein that's running across the yard, perpendicular to the building, it ends right over there. This vein runs parallel with the building. And just about where that one ends is where this one picks up. So what we're assuming is happening is that vein going perpendicular to the building is running into the vein that's running parallel with the building, and we move downstream from it because we know it's flowing in that direction. So we should get water from the vein that's flowing perpendicular and the one that's flowing somewhat parallel. So we're basically taking advantage of two water veins by drilling one hole where we're putting it. The guys will be here tomorrow to start drilling. I think our plan at the moment is to go about 400 feet deep. Danielle gives the big thumbs up.
Yeah.
We have one well that we run on the farm. We can run about 2 weeks.
All
We run
six houses.
for about 2 weeks, and then we have to start shutting them off and turning county water on to keep up with the demand. When we turned that well on and just ran what we could, we picked up about half of our water bill was paid for with the well. So I don't think we'll pay the other half with this well. I don't think there's enough there to meet that demand. But if we can get another week or two on all 6 houses running, maybe more, just depends on what they hit. They may not hit anything. They may hit an underground lake, which would be absolutely wonderful.
Every little bit helps, though.
Yeah, every little bit helps. So But anyway, that's what they refer to as water witching, like a witch. Some people call it water wishing because you don't know how much water's there, you don't know how deep it is, you don't know any of these things.
They claim that only certain people can do it.
They claim, yeah, that's what they claim, but I'm not usually one of those special, well, I am, yeah. We'll leave that alone.
The special flower.
I'm sometimes a very special flower. Not usually in the capability area, but special flower nonetheless. I've also seen people use, I've seen black walnut limbs, like forked black walnut, well, forked. You got to have a forked limb. Forked black walnut limbs or forked peach limbs, they do. And
They hold the forks.
Yeah, they'll hold, get the straight part of the limb in front of them and take the fork in each hand and bend it back. And instead of anything crossing, when you walk over water with those, they point down.
Yep.
So that's one way, another way to find water. Again, all these are is brazen rods, welding rods, about 3 feet long, with a 90-degree angle bent on the end, and lay them in the crease of your nickel, right there, across your fingers, and put your pinky on the back side just to hold the rod up when you go through the yard. The wind's blowing a little bit today, so it doesn't work out quite as well. But as you go through the yard, just hold a little pressure. You can even kind of cup your fingers around to keep them in the bend of your finger. As you go through the yard and they cross, they'll lay all the way back like that when you're standing over water. I don't know why it works. It just works. So,
Thank you. Yep. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Thank you guys for watching.
Yes, thank you very much for watching.
I know we haven't put out any fresh content in a while.
We've been quite busy. So,
Yep.
But there's your country living tip of the day. If you want to know if your yard has water in it, or you can use this to find your water lines in your yard. If you're not real sure, if you know where your meter is, but you're not real sure where your water line runs to, go across the yard with some brazen rods and see if you can't find it.
Or if you move somewhere.
Yeah, if you move somewhere and need to find the new lines, that's a good way to do it.
Yep.
But anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, all those fun things.
Yep. New recipe coming soon.
New recipes coming soon.
Sweet potato chili.
Sweet potato chili.
Just in time for fall.
That sounds a little strange, but we're going to try it. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.